What's going on YouTube? It's Edward here, and today we are bringing another Division video. Today's just me and one of my friends going around in the Dark Zone. It's a Friday night. Yes, I know, I'm playing Division on Friday night. I have a pretty long week at work, so I did not feel like going out at all. Friday nights for me nowadays are to recharge the battery so I can go out on Saturday. Anyways, so my friend and I were playing, and we got to talking about just the community of Division and how the game is going and what is going on. Mainly because, as we were playing this, we realized there's no one on this server, or at least there's not a lot of people on this server. Because as we were playing, we were trying to go to Rogue and we were trying to find some people to kill or do something, right? But for the most part, there was just no one really around. We ran by a few agents. We killed a few of them. We thought they would come back and find vengeance, but no, they didn't look for that. Everyone was being super, arguably kind of cordial, where it's just oh, you killed me, but I'm not going to come back and get you, even though there's just two of us. It's not like there's a crap ton of us. It's just me and one other dude. And yeah, just the entire server was just very, very quiet. And we were what is going on? And that got us to talk about, just how the game in itself is going, the community and, just kind of the social aspects of it. And then we brought up a few things that two of us we realized were just really ridiculous in terms of the community, about Ubisoft, and how people complain about really the most ridiculous things. First topic is essentially everyone complains about others doing a tactician build, or not tactician build, but you do electronics build and you go sticky. People hate that. They hate the fact that you can sticky them and kill them in one hit, or at least one hit and 10 bullets. And then knock them down, and and it pisses off a lot of people. That pisses people off. What also pisses other people off is using things like shock turrets or incendiary grenades. Yeah, fire grenades, and then bullets also, exploding bullets, all these little perks and
consumables
that you can use. And there's always someone that could, or at least there's people in the community that hate others using these for one reason or another. It's oh, they're cheap, you don't. It's not skill based, and it's so what? And to us, it's kind of what's the big deal? You know what? This game, it's a part of the game. It's not they're hacking this and they're making themselves overly ridiculous. Yeah, is it kind of overpowered? To me, it's only overpowered if there's zero counter, and arguably there is a ton of counter for both shock turrets and sticky grenades. Obviously it's maybe a little hard to get to, and because in order to counter shock turrets, you either need high shock resistance, or you just shoot out the gun and you shoot out the shock turret before it can do anything, right? The second it launches, it takes a good 2 to 3 seconds for the turret to actually go up. You can just shoot it out, and plus there's nothing to stop you from using it. By the time you get to the in-game content, everybody has access to this stuff. It's not it only belongs to some elite group of players. Anyone can do it. Yes, it's a little easier to shoot a grenade at someone within 5 feet of them and then explode them versus peppering them with bullets, because you have to have a dead-on accuracy, right? Sure, but if you can have enough toughness to survive it, and if you pull off enough, and if you have good enough coordination with your team, and you know how to heal each other and all that jazz, there's really nothing for you to really not be able to fight that off. Honestly, I mean, I get killed by these people all the time. I get killed by electronics builds. I get killed because I get shocked. And you know what? It's a part of the game. It's a part of the game. And yes, I get peeved when it happens, but I'm not gonna go all crazy about it. Start calling people certain names or whatever. It just seems very petty when you get so. I mean, some people almost take it personally, for crying out loud, because other players are using these tactics or whatever, using these moves, and you know what? At the end of the day, it's just the game. You don't have to like if you think it's cheap and you don't use it, and you get killed by it, that's your own fault. Like, why don't, if you can't beat them, just join them, like the old saying goes, right? Like, why don't you just do what they do, and then, you know, maybe they get pissed and they start doing something else. Like, what's the big deal? Like, I don't understand where, like, players put themselves in situations where they can get killed, and then when they do, it's like, oh, it's cheap. Like you should be able to do that because, or you shouldn't do that because it's too easy. Well, it's like, that's like saying, like, you should ban, like, NBA players should not just stop dunking the ball because, well, like, how hard is it for me to, like, just put the ball in the basket when they can jump like 2 feet and they're already 7 foot and they have like a crazy reach already? Like, it's so easy. Like, they should be shooting threes or like field goals the whole time, like 10 feet. No, that's stupid. Like, why wouldn't you use, like, like, play the low ball? Because it's easy to get the points. That's the whole point of the game, is to win. And in this game, it's the same thing. You want to win, then you do the stuff that makes you win. Like, there's no, like, I feel like there's very little reason to complain. Like, I'm not talking about balance issues. I'm not talking about, like, the glitches. I'm just talking about people complaining about basic mechanics. Should they nerf a little bit of it? Sure. I mean, should a person be able to do like 500k in damage in terms of a sticky bomb? Maybe, but like the likelihood that a person has an electronics build that can do 500k with a sticky bomb, the likelihood that they have a high DPS is very low. So you can always counter that by shooting them far away or just getting them before they can pop off the sticky. And if they can't get you with the sticky, like, you know, you dodge them, the second they use it, guess what? They have a cooldown time. And that cooldown time is time for you to unleash, you know? And then there's tanky builds, like, how do you counter a tank? You use a shock turret because you stop them from moving, and then you can unload an entire mags on them. And that's like the whole point. There's always a counter to most of these things, but people either they don't take the time to learn it, they don't want to learn it, or maybe they just don't have the gear to counter it. And if you don't, hey, guess what? Play the game more or something, man. Like, there's no reason why the people who play this the most often need to conform to those who don't. Like, you're not, like, the community is not made up of the people who barely play this. It's made up of the people who play this often, you know? People like Darius P, who clearly play this very well. He has an electronics build, and he's very good at it. Like, you know, he is probably by far one of, like, the better players I've seen. And people like, and you need to look at him to see, like, what you should be doing, not like developers. And half the developers that play this game, they treat it as a job. It's not like a game to them anymore. It's just their job to make this game to play it. Sure, some of them might like it, but I bet you anything, a lot of them are just as tired of it and they just want to move on to another title already. Like, even when I had some days in the gaming industry, and honestly, like, I never played anything my company ever made, like, except for maybe Rock Band. And that was the only thing because it was, like, easy to play-ish. And it was, like, more fun. But anyways, like, I just don't understand why people complain so much. I mean, if anything needs to be changed in this game, it's just how the developers want, like, what they keep adding to this game is more about PvE than PvP. And arguably, a lot of the PvP needs to be changed as well. Like, for example, like, there's just a lot of people don't like going rogue, or they don't, you know, because it's just too much penalty. Like, I mean, there's sometimes I'll be just chilling, like, you know, I'll just literally exit like a safe room or a checkpoint, and some guy unloads a mag on me at the head. I'm not ready for it, and somehow I get 2,000 XP, like, just diminished from my friggin' character. Why? I didn't even do anything. Sometimes people are just checking their maps or something, and, you know, they get killed by these, like, punks who do that to them, and it's like they get such a like a punishment to be in that situation for you when you're just checking a map. Like, there should be some kind of fail safe where it's like, hey, if you're not actually causing or doing anything, you know, you're just kind of like looking at a map, there should only be like 100 XP penalty. Like, it's like 2,000 or more, you know, like some people lose like 4,000, 5,000 once you get into like the 80s and 90s for just dying. It's like, should you really be penalized that hard? Like 4,000 to 5,000 XP, I mean, in terms of like how many more NPCs you have to kill is a lot. You know, it's 20 or more. So why are you penalizing this the much more for people who like may just been caught off guard, right? Like, yeah, you know, the whole point of the dark zone, like, you know, the whole fact that you're mixed in, you know, with ads and also mixed in with like PvP is that, you know, your head needs to be always on a swivel. You know, you want to cause the chaos so that like you don't want to like, you know, there's always people around you.
I got everything you need.
That you just don't know about, right? You want to have that like doubt in your mind. It's like, do we shoot first? Do they shoot first? What's going on? You know, you kind of have these like Mexican standoffs, right? Where, you know, you just don't know who's going to do what first, right? And yeah, I get that that's kind of the point environment that they do, but there's certain situations like there's a high difference between a standoff and a person that's just caught off guard, right? I mean, if someone say shot me in the back, like right now as I'm shooting ads and I get killed, yeah, I should be able to lose lose a fair amount of XP because I wasn't like paying attention to what's behind me. But if I'm just standing there checking my mini-map, are you kidding me? Like nothing should happen. Oh look, that guy got in the back. And like nothing should happen to me, arguably, right? Like that's what I think, you know, like, or at least very little should happen to me. And other things that have really bugged me is like, you know, when people use is that like when people do go rogue, like that 19-second counter, like for just shooting someone and going rogue, I feel like that should be there. However, it should not only, like, you should get rank 1. Like right now you only get rank 1 rogue if you kill someone, if you down someone, right? You know, if you just shoot someone, you don't get a rank. But I think if you're in a standoff with a person and you're constantly shooting each other, and you're clearly you have hit the guy like a few times and you still haven't killed him, you should automatically be moved to rank 1 because, like, why not? I mean, at this point, because you're already shooting each other, you're clearly trying to go rogue because you're trying to kill this guy, you're just unable to. But you should be able to hit rank 1 because, say, like, because that other guy, even though you're only on 19 seconds, if that other guy kills you, he gets 0 experience. And even though you're clearly trying to go rogue on him, he doesn't get nothing from killing you. So I think there should be like some kind of, you know, there's obviously a bullet limit to going rogue, right? To get the first 19 seconds. I don't know how much it is. Like, maybe say it's like 10 bullets, right? At 20 or 30 bullets, and you're still at that 19-second mark, it should automatically push you to rank 1. And then killing your first guy, it will still make you rank 1, but it'll just reset your timer or something. Like, there shouldn't, like, I feel like there needs to be some changes in that where you can, like, because at that point, like, if someone wants to kill you, they can at least get some, like, you know, a person that's not trying to go rogue kills a rogue, they get some experience without you having to kill them, without, like, them having to die first. And then you get a rank, and then they come back and kill you. That's ridiculous. Like, that kind of, you know, like, there should be balance in that sense, right? And the one thing I really hate also is just, like, how Ubisoft, they'd like to nerf things, but they never buff anything, right? And I get it, like, it's a lot easier to nerf, like, 5 items than to say to buff, like, 40 items. But guess what? Like, nerfing will always piss off more people, and buffing will always make more people happy, right? Because when you buff everything else up, the guy who's, you know, using the one thing that you were going to nerf, they're just going to be like, oh, like, they buffed everything up, I can still use what I use. Or I can change it up. Like, they get more options in terms of, like, oh, I can stay the same, or I can, like, you know, readjust. Everybody else that's not using that particular, like, you know, strong build or whatever, it's like, oh, now I have a chance to fight these guys because I don't have to grind as hard and get these items so that I can take out this guy. I already have the items that I can take him out with. Let me just use those instead. Yes, that's more work. It's more time consuming, but for Ubisoft and for the developers in this, like, you gotta put in the time and effort. If you really want to make a good RPG, this MMO type thing where you know, really want to break into this world, you gotta, like, do the hard things. Like, you gotta do the stuff that takes time. You gotta do the stuff that makes the community happy. Like, I'm pretty sure the DAU or Division is constantly going down. Like, it's probably the MAU, the DAU, in case you don't want, that's daily active users, monthly active users. I'm pretty sure that number is constantly going down. Because people are just not liking it enough, you know? And the funny thing is, like, there's similar situations happen to games like Destiny and Diablo, but because they know how to make RPGs, they always know how to come back from it, right? Like Destiny is still fairly pretty strong, and Diablo just like made kind of like a resurgence of itself in some ways or another, and they're coming back in full force, and like they're taking a lot of people away from other games because they know how to make a good RPG. You know, that's what they've done. And I wish Ubisoft will take, you know, tips from these guys. You know, you don't have to copy an idea, but just kind of do a little bit of what they do so that you don't get left behind, you know? And I don't know, like for me, like, yeah, me and my friend were talking about like a bunch of other stuff and like about the community and whatnot. And, you know, basically we just, at the end of the day, we're just saying like, you know what, Ubisoft, in the beginning, like this game was really fun, but it's getting to the point where it's like, we're kind of wondering what's next, you know? Like I'm kind of, if Overwatch was any more like of a RPG type game, I'd be playing that by now. Like only that exclusively, not Division. I would have left Division behind a long time ago. But because it's not, and Division is still pretty fun to grind on, and you know, just to go rogue, and it's always fun to go like do stuff and like go rogue hunting or whatever. You know, it's still pretty fun. I still like it for the most part. But yeah, there's got to be some big changes that come out and that needs to come out, and they need to start listening to like a different audience. Whoever the heck they are listening to doesn't know what they're doing. You know, they don't know about the game as well as like those who play it day to day. Guys like Darius who like stream on Twitch and YouTube or whatever. These guys are constantly like they play this probably more than the developers do by now. You know, because they're playing it all day because they have to make money from it, and they're playing it hours on end. So, I mean, I can only assume they're just playing so much more. They're so much more committed to it. And I think that's who the people need to start listening to, really. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you guys think of, you know, what's going on in the Division right now. Are you still liking it? Are you pissed? Do you agree or disagree with anything I'm saying? Let me know down in the comments. And yeah, I'll talk to you guys later. Peace out.